I was 30 years old, alone in a bar in Hong Kong, when I made one of the worst decisions of my life. I asked a stranger for a cigarette. It wasn't because I was craving one. I had been smoke-free for 7 years, but in that moment, half a world away from home in a foreign, unfamiliar city, I lit up as a way to connect with the only English-speaking person in the place. One drag, and I was hooked again. My name is Craig Nabat. I'm the president of Freedom Laser LLC and a former pack-and-a-half-a-day smoker. I spent years trapped in a vicious cycle of addiction, relapsed, and frustrating failed attempts to quit. I tried everything. Willpower, failed. Nicotine patches, failed. Nicotine gum, failed. I even made the mistake of smoking while wearing a patch, which made me so nauseous that I felt I was poisoning myself. The health problems stacked up: stomach ulcers, indigestion, and intense burning sensations in my chest with each puff. Every cigarette felt like it might be my last, and not because I was about to quit. My complicated relationship with smoking started long before I ever lit one myself. I grew up in a 70s household clouded with cigarette smoke. My mother was a heavy smoker. Her relentless, blood-curdling cough rattled the walls at night. I remember being 6 years old, lying in bed, terrified she wouldn't wake up the next morning. That fear shaped me. My mother is quite the character. Imagine the famous late great comedian Joan Rivers, but with a lit cigarette as her signature accessory. She has the same hilarious, sarcastic, quick-witted, and sharp personality, brutally honest, but deceptive about smoking. You rarely saw my mother without a cigarette. This trademark prop was ingrained in her personality, which disgusted and deeply disturbed me. My mom was to cigarette smoking what Joan Rivers was to comedy. At 9, my parents signed me up for a local baseball league. Being younger and smaller than the other kids, I needed extra motivation. My mom made a bold bet. If I hit a home run that season, she'd quit smoking. I ran with it, proudly announcing the deal to my teammates. Every game, I swung for the fences. In a moment, ripped straight from sports movie cliché, the final game of the season, final inning, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Against all odds, I did it. I hit that home run. After the game, I sprinted across the field straight to my mom with the entire team trailing behind me. I demanded she hand over a pack of cigarettes, and in front of a cheering crowd of 9 and 10-year-olds, she reluctantly tore them up. And at that moment, she quit. My mother was finally free, or so I thought. Addiction doesn't let go that easily. A month later, my parents picked me up from summer camp. The moment I slid into the car, the stale, unmistakable smell of cigarette smoke hit me. Without thinking, I blurted out, "Mom, you're smoking." She naturally denied it, of course. That was the day I understood what nicotine addiction really is. It isn't a matter of willpower. It isn't about weakness. It isn't simply a choice. It's a physical and psychological dependency that makes good people lie to people they love. As heartbreaking as that was, it planted a seed of empathy in me. I came to see smokers not as weak or flawed, but as people trapped by one of the most powerful addictions on the planet. Ironically, despite my childhood hatred for cigarettes, I fell into the trap of nicotine addiction myself at the age of 19. And like millions of others, I vastly underestimated how fast nicotine could sink its hooks into me. That relapse in Hong Kong wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of a downward spiral. 3 days after returning home, I went to a party with my girlfriend, a woman I adored who meant so much to me. From across the room, she spotted me lighting a cigarette. She tilted her head in confusion, like a dog hearing a strange noise, then approached me and rhetorically asked, "What are you doing?" I nonchalantly shrugged, "I'm just having a cigarette." She stared at me and declared, "You don't smoke." I answered, "I used to smoke." She shook her head in disgust and walked away. I was oblivious to how jarring it must have been for her to see me smoking. Lighting that cigarette was, in my clearer moments, an action that contradicted everything I believed in. What I didn't realize in that moment that I was already back in nicotine's grasp. I forgot how much I enjoyed it. The cigarette wasn't a one-up. It was the spark that reignited a raging fire. It wasn't long before I was chain smoking again, destroying my health, alienating the people I valued most. My nicotine addiction didn't just damage my body, it changed how others saw me, especially her. The man she fell for was health conscious, disciplined, and driven. Slowly, as the cigarettes took over, I believe I became less attractive to her, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. I could see it in her eyes, the disappointment, the distance. Eventually, I was spending more time smoking than being with her. My addiction to nicotine didn't just harm me, it lit the fuse that blew up my relationship with the girl of my dreams. For 18 miserable months, I failed at quitting. Each attempt chipped away at my confidence. Going cold turkey made me feel so uncomfortable, I felt as if I was crawling in my own skin. The nicotine patches made me nauseous, itchy, and anxious. The gum made me queasy and tasted awful. I genuinely believed I'd never live free from nicotine. That changed in November 2002 when I drove from Detroit to Canada for a low-level laser therapy treatment I heard whispers about. Skeptical but desperate, I sat through a 30-minute painless laser therapy session, a technique rooted in the 5,000-year-old principles of ancient Chinese acupuncture. The laser targeted specific acupuncture points on my hands, face, wrists, and ears, designed to stimulate the release of endorphins to alleviate nicotine withdrawal symptoms. And I was shocked. It actually worked for me. I walked out of that clinic and never smoked again. That experience altered the course of my life. The Canadian clinic owner, George Lucio, a pioneer in addiction laser therapy and a registered clinical counselor, saw how passionate I was about helping other smokers quit, took me under his wing, and mentored me. I immersed myself in the science and psychology behind addiction, training under experts, learning how to guide others through the brutal quit process I knew too well. A respected Detroit-based acupuncturist, Cheryl Turner, taught me the therapeutic applications of laser therapy. Soon, I realized I wasn't just another quitter, I was meant to help others quit too. As a lifelong PR, marketing, and branding expert in Detroit, I started strategizing how to effectively introduce and promote this revolutionary, effective, and drug-free quit smoking method to America. I envisioned not just a clinic, but an experience, a state-of-the-art, futuristic wellness center that would astonish and inspire every client who walked through our doors, a place where no one would silently suffer from addiction any longer. I made a bold decision in 2003 and uprooted my life and moved from Detroit to Los Angeles, the epicenter of Hollywood and the media. There I founded Freedom Laser Therapy, Inc., now known as Freedom Laser LLC, one of the first clinics in the United States solely dedicated to helping people quit smoking. I went all in on marketing this revolutionary treatment process to introduce it to the world. I invested in an omni-channel advertising and marketing campaign, pre-produced video news segments, infomercials, rooftop-mounted taxi display ads, a Freedom Laser branded BMW convertible, split-voice radio ads featuring the legendary radio personality Howard Stern and me, and daily live reads from the Partridge Family child star Danny Bonaducci and beloved Los Angeles radio host Tim Conway Jr. We aggressively promoted Freedom Laser and quit smoking low-level laser therapy nationwide. For more than 20 years, I've devoted my life to helping others reclaim theirs. Freedom Laser has successfully assisted over 10,000 smokers and vapers to quit nicotine for good. But to me, it's always personal. Every client who walks through our doors reminds me of my own struggle and the millions still suffocating from cigarette smoke. I've lived every failure, every relapse, every desperate moment. I've spent 2 decades turning that experience into a quit smoking system that works. Tried everything and nothing is stuck? Good. Freedom Laser was developed specifically for you. It's time for your last cigarette or vape.